Konnichiwa minasan, welcome back to another video. I'm really tired right now. I just finished school. But I bring to you, because today is the 14th of January, which is also, well, it so happens to be Ninjago's 10th anniversary. So it's 10 years old, and I've been with that show since 2012. It came out in 2011, so I was a year late. I have compiled a list of 10 things that I have learned from that show. I've been with it for so long. For a while, though, I kind of forgot about it, but then it came back, and again, it has been such a great thing, and I learned so much from that show. So I decided to share what I have learned with 10 quotes. Some of them will have audio, some of them will not. Number 1, people don't change. They only reveal who they truly are. It talks about how people, you think that they do change, but over time you just start to realize that that's just who they are. A lot of people have different sides that they show or don't show, and for that reason, you sometimes do find out that that's who they really are, even if you didn't see that side yet. Number 2.
You faced destruction with dignity and courage, and you responded with creation and love. There is no greater response.
What he is talking about is how when something dark happens, let's give an example, right? And you don't know what to do, the best thing to do is to face that with light and love. And you, instead of doing what that person or that entity has done, say destruction, you want to do the opposite of that. You want to create, whether that be spreading positivity or spreading light in general, and just being the person that you wish we had more of. I know it's 2021, but we still have a lot of dark days ahead of us. Even if it's not as prominent as it was in 2020, it's still here. And for that reason, we want to spread positivity and light, and we want to create good memories. We want to create good relationships with people. We don't want to destroy. We want to change the future in a way that we want to change the future in a way that will lead to brighter days. Number 3, we are only as strong as our weakest link. That was said by Faith. What this is, right? I actually did post this quote on one of my Instagram posts, and my mom came up to me and she's like, oh, what does that mean? Because she's not really into like quotes and stuff, right? So she's like, oh, what is this talking about? So we are only as strong as our weakest link. So say, for example, a chain. You have a chain, but part of it is rusted. Will that chain still be strong? If there's even one part of something that is weak, then we are weak together. When you work in groups especially, you want to work together and be strong together. Because if you have one break in that bridge, then the whole thing will collapse. Number 4. What is weird? Someone who is different or someone who is different from you? A lot of people are different, right? But for that reason, we judge people unfairly. And a lot of people, they look at someone for the first time and they make up a whole backstory, or they start saying stuff about that person. When you compare someone to yourself, then you think that person is different, and that causes you to think a certain way. And that's why this is really important. Number 5. When all hope is lost, all you need is a good laugh to stay positive. Helps cope with what's bad while opening your eyes to what's good. This was said by Jay in season 9. When all hope was lost, right? He and the ninja, they all laughed together. They all said something funny, and then, even though they were probably like close to their deathbeds, but it's so important to stay positive because it keeps you from dragging yourself down or maybe other people down. And I know a lot of times people think that there's no light at the end of the tunnel, that this is it and you can't change your life around or you can't continue, but that's not true. All you have to do is just stay positive. Even a simple laugh is a huge step forward. Number 6. Never put off until tomorrow what can be done today. Said by Wu. I think of this quote all the time. When I do laundry or when I'm about to leave the dishes and do it later, I think about this. If you keep putting something off, if you keep procrastinating, then you're never going to get it done, no matter what it is. Especially my physics homework, for example. I can't keep putting that off. If I do, then I'm never going to do it, because then eventually you're going to keep saying that over and over. Oh, I can do it tomorrow. I have time. But that isn't something that you should do, because if you put something off until tomorrow, then what if there is no tomorrow? What if tomorrow you have something that you're supposed to do that you didn't realize? You might not have enough time to finish what you could have done yesterday. Number 7. This one I'm going to put audio because this one's really long.
But first, why do you climb the mountain?
I just lost someone. My father should be sad or angry, but he's...
Yes?
He spends all his time with this group, singing and dancing. He's never home, leaving all the chores for me. With her gone, I guess it's up to me to be the responsible one. He acts like nothing's happened. How can he sing and dance at a time like this?
Grief takes many shapes and forms. Some sing and dance. Some climb mountains.
This one revolves around grief, and a lot of people cope in different ways. And for example, Cole's father, he sings and dances, and he acts like nothing happened, because sometimes that's how people get over something. If it never happened, then why should you dwell on it? And then Cole, on the other hand, he decided that climbing mountains is better than thinking about the death of his mother, right? Because his mother died from sickness. If you watch season 13, I believe. Uh-oh. I lost my train of thought. But the overall theme, or the overall lesson from this, is that people cope in different ways. And sometimes it's not easy to deal with that. Number 9. Our world isn't perfect. That doesn't mean we give up on it. That was said by Sensei Wu. Again, he has a lot of good quotes, even though he himself isn't wise. But this quote is just so important, because look at the world today. Is it perfect? Is it beautiful all the time? Is it just light and laughter and love? Is it just a place where you can sit down and be yourself? It isn't. And even if it's still a dark place at times, and there are so many terrible people out there, there's still light. There are still great people with different personalities, or there are still genuine people out there who do care. And for that reason, why should we give up on a world like that? It may not be perfect, but in darkness, there is always light. In darkness, there will always be light. But in light, we must have darkness. You have to have the balance, and for that reason, that's why there can never be a perfect world. But for that reason, we can't give up on what we have. Number 10, ninja never quit. This is a classic one. We all know it if you've seen Ninjago. And it's, even if you're not a ninja, even if you're not an elemental master with powers, and you can't play hero, or you're not strong, so what? Why should you give up? Why in general? Even if you have an opportunity, why should you give up on that? It may seem hopeless, or it may seem like you can't do something, but if you quit, how will you know how far you can go? Another quote that Wu, he said, if there aren't any chances, how will they know how far they can go? That's probably not the actual quote, but the importance of that is just that if you don't have risks, you may never ever push yourself. And for that reason, you can't quit. Because if you quit, then you might never know your true potential or how far you can really go. So, there it is, the last quote. These are the 10 lessons and quotes that I really like, because they do teach you a lesson. And for that, I want you all to really take this video and think about it on your own time, or comment below what you think of these quotes, and if you have any other ones that you also have learned from. Because there are so many, but these are just some of my favorites. I have way more, but then if I said all of them, we'd be here all day. Anyway, until next time, I hope you learned something as well. But until next time, またね!